Yeah, hey, woo, hey, it's a Monday, ho, hey, ho. It's Monday, January 15th. Welcome to the morning wake up. Or have you woken up yet on this Monday? It's a new week and new week, but kind of the same old stuff. Where we left off on Friday with all this wintry weather, let's get into a look at our forecast here on Steve Shetler Media. Let's see here. Our forecast brought to us by the Garden Gate in Sigourney. Stop by the Garden Gate at 105 South Jefferson. Call 641-622-3191. You can stop by and see Cindy and check them out for fresh floral arrangements, jewelry, home decor, sympathy gifts. They've got something for everyone. They, of course, can get you ready for Valentine's Day coming up in now less than a month. Yeah, can you believe that? Stop by. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturdays, 9 to noon. The Garden Gate bringing us our forecast. Oh, I know Cindy is not a fan of wintry weather. Cindy at the Garden Gate. A wind chill warning continuing through tomorrow till noon. So, yeah, get used to this weather. If you're not used to it yet, it's going to continue on this Martin Luther King Day. Mostly cloudy skies, cold, a high of 4 below. It's ridiculous. 4 below zero, our high today. West winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Wind chills could be at 35 below today. So still dangerously cold outside. Tonight, cloudy skies will gradually become clear, a low of 15 below, and still, west winds could gust up to 20 miles per hour, again, making wind chills right around 35 below at times. Tomorrow, sunny and cold. We will get just a tiny bit above zero tomorrow, a high of 3. And then tomorrow night, clear skies, a low of only 4 below. Wow. It's going to feel warm tomorrow night. Wednesday, partly sunny and a heat wave with a high of 18 degrees. Again, a wind chill warning in effect through tomorrow. What does a wind chill warning mean? It means it's cold, people. It's dangerously cold. From the National Weather Service, dangerously cold wind chills could cause frostbite on exposed skin in as little as 10 minutes. You are advised to avoid outside activities if possible. And when you are outside, make sure you're wearing appropriate clothing, a hat, some gloves. Again, that is a wind chill warning until noon tomorrow. Now, our current conditions, humidity 74%, winds west at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, barometric pressure at 30.31, and we're at 14 below zero right now in southeast Iowa. That's before wind chills. Wind chills right now about 32 below. So again, 14 below the current temp. And that is our forecast brought to us by the Garden Gate. Speaking of the forecast, did you see this picture that I shared last night, late last night? This one and another one brought to us by one of our viewers, Kristen Pfeiffer of Wellman, showing us this picture. This is Highway 22 between Wellman and Keota. She referred to it as the Keota Curve. Look at that wall of snow. That is crazy. Now, Ken McLaughlin chimed in from the road crews from Keokuk County that was part of making this possible, making this road possible to travel through in the comments. So if you want to scroll back just a little bit through my news feed, look at those pictures. Look at the comments. Ken kind of tells what was happening and some of the help. I think he said that they got a machine out of Waterloo to help them get through this snow and make this road passable. So that wall of snow, that is incredible between Wellman and Keota. Thank you to our road crews for making life possible and our roads passable here in southeast Iowa. They've been working hard all weekend long. Hopefully they can get some rest and relaxation maybe here over the next few days. But man, this weather has just been crazy over the past week, and especially over this weekend with the blizzard conditions that we were having. Thank you to our road crews. Hey, let's get you ready for today's question of the day, brought to us by Amy's Salon House and Spa in Sigourney. They offer hair, spa services, extensions, products, tanning. You can see all the products that they offer there. You can call or text for an appointment at 641-622-3772 in Sigourney, Amy's Salon House and Spa. Your question, this will go up at 12:30 today. What was your all-time favorite breakfast cereal as a kid? And then how about now as an adult? What's your favorite breakfast cereal? Again, this will go up at about 12:30. You can put your comments in at that time. But everybody knows, if you've been watching the Morning Wake Up the last few months, I often refer to Captain Crunch as my number one go-to. That was my favorite as a kid, or one of my favorites as a kid, and definitely my favorite as an adult. I like the Frosted Flakes. I really liked, Cookie Crisp as a kid. That was another one of my favorites as a kid. Don't really eat Cookie Crisp now, but I stick with the Captain Crunch. So that'll be going up later on today on my Facebook news feed. Something else to get ready for this week. Of course, everything we had, the usual programming from Friday through Saturday was all canceled. By the way, I have to apologize. I'm just now realizing that my little ticker at the bottom of the screen there with information, I didn't update that this morning. I am a horrible, horrible person. I did not update my little ticker today, but let's take that off of there. Luke Stutzman is going to be our Iowa Music Showcase coming up this week at Barnwired. Let's see here. Luke is going to be coming in on Friday from 11:30 to noon, and we'll get a live interview and some live music from Luke. So again, Luke Stutzman will be hanging out this Friday from 11:30 to noon at Barnwired in Sigourney. We had to cancel Sierra Griggs this past Friday, dang it. I was really looking forward to seeing Sierra. I hadn't seen her in a while. We do have Sierra Griggs rescheduled for April, but Luke Stutzman will get things rocking and rolling this Friday at the Iowa Music Showcase at Barnwired. I know Luke's got a new project coming out. He's got a new single out on YouTube right now that you can check out, and probably all other outlets. So check that out. Let's see here. Also coming up this week, got a couple of Keota basketball games. Sigourney will be at Keota tomorrow night for high school basketball, girls and boys. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night for Sigourney at Keota basketball. Friday night, we'll have English Valleys at Keota. So again, two area matchups for Keota basketball. We'll have them both right here on Steve Shetler Media, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Keota basketball. And then on Saturday this week, we'll be back at it with the sports section live at Brothers Market. On Saturday morning, we'll have some live guests and have a lot of fun coming up at Brothers Market. That's a busy week coming up this week here on Steve Shetler Media. Hey, a good morning to everybody. Let's check the comments. Good morning to you, Sherry. Got Bubby in the house. Eloise, Kurt and Kathy, Jenny, Dixie, Sandy, Nick, Wendy. Good morning to all you folks. Thanks for hanging out on this cold Monday morning here in southeast Iowa. Let's do some birthdays. Sing along with me. Come on, I know you want to. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. All right. Birthdays for today. We've got actress-comedian Andrea Martin turning 77. Got singer-actress Charo. Akuchi. Charo. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? If you're the younger part of our audience, probably have no idea who Charo is. She's 73. Charo. Randy White, football Hall of Famer. He's a football Hall of Famer. Randy White from the Dallas Cowboys, 71 years old today. Mario Van Peebles, the actor from LA Law, New Jack City, 67 years old. We've got Lisa of Lisa and the Cult Jam, turning 57 years old. Football player Drew Brees, one of the greats, one of the all-time great quarterbacks, 45 years old. Rapper Pitbull turns 43. And former WWE women's wrestler Kelly Kelly. I don't know if her middle name is Kelly. I hope it is. Kelly. 37 years old for Kelly Kelly. And then, let's see here. Singer Grace VanderWaal, turning 20 years old today. Good morning to you, Dan, Renee, Nancy. Thanks, everybody, for waking up and tuning in on this cold Monday morning. On this date in history, it was today. Of course, today is caucus day here in Iowa. Is anybody going to get out and caucus? It's an interesting process. They actually, here a few years ago, they put me in charge of leading my little area at the caucus. I had no idea what I was doing. That was an interesting experience. But yeah, make sure you get out and caucus today, Republican Party. Let's see here. Today in 1870, the Democratic Party was portrayed as a donkey for the very first time in a cartoon in Harper's Weekly. Eventually, they started using the donkey's face. So 1870 for the donkey and the Democratic Party. It was also on this date, 1892, the rules of basketball were officially published. Evidently, they forgot to tell the NBA about this because traveling still occurs in the NBA all the time. And flops. I don't know if they had any rules against flopping back in 1892. And then also, kind of a neat story. Back in the 1960s, a toy was born called the Super Ball. B-A-L-L. Super Ball. After watching his kids play with the Super Ball, Lamar Hunt, the founder of the American Football League, coined the term Super Bowl in 1966 in a letter that he wrote to the commissioner at the time, Pete Rozelle. So that's kind of where Super Bowl came from, was a toy called the Super Ball. Of course, the playoffs getting underway over the weekend. Hopefully your favorite team won. Today, on the National Day calendar, it's National Bagel Day. It's, of course, Martin Luther King Jr. Day today. National Strawberry Ice Cream Day and National Hat Day. Let me back up. Strawberry ice cream. I haven't had any strawberry ice cream in a long time, and that all of a sudden sounds really good. So, National Strawberry Ice Cream Day for today. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Each year on the third Monday of January, schools, federal offices, post offices, banks across America close as we celebrate the birth, life, and the dream. I had a dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A time to remember his fight for the freedom, quality, and dignity of all races and people. So, as we have, a lot of you have today off because of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So keep him in mind. Maybe do a Google search and learn a little bit more about MLK. Things you need to know on this date in history. Actually, just things you need to know. This isn't on this date. This is current stuff, actually. Things you need to know. By the way, good morning to you, Beverly. Thank you for tuning in. Tevin Griffey, which is the son of Ken Griffey Jr. and the grandson of Ken Griffey Sr., Tevin Griffey. He's just bound to be a great athlete. He has joined the Boise State football program, so look for that name in the near future. Joyce Randolph, she played Trixie Norton on The Honeymooners and was the last surviving member of the cast. Sadly passed away on Saturday. She was 99 years old. Again, Trixie Norton from The Honeymooners. On ABC, they have announced that the next season, which will be the 7th season of The Good Doctor, will be its last. Another thing you can say goodbye to is the churro, not to be confused with Charo's birthday today. The churro, maybe they should have Charo do a commercial for the churro. But we're saying goodbye to the churro at Costco food courts. The Twisted Treats, which were offered for $1.49, have apparently been replaced with a 7-inch double chocolate chunk cookie. So the churros at Costco going bye-bye. Other things you need to know. Sources are saying that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift plan to get engaged this summer. I guess that won't be much of a surprise to Taylor when Travis gets down on one knee. How do they know? You can't guess when that's going to happen. Spoilers. Other stuff. Hertz going to be selling 20,000 of their electric vehicles in their current fleet, and they're going to be reinvesting in gasoline models. Surprise, surprise. Let's see here. Paramount, they have given the go-ahead to writers to start on Top Gun 3. Of course they have. Why are they waiting till now to greenlight Top Gun 3 after it made so much money here, a year and a half ago? Tom Cruise says, "Show me the money!" Top Gun 3 in the works. University of Colorado football coach Neon Deion, prime time. Coach Sanders revealing that he had to have a couple of his toes on his left foot amputated after a bout with life-threatening blood clots. Interesting. Stay with football. The New England Patriots promoted their linebackers coach, Jared Mayo, to replace Bill Belichick as their head coach. Other sports news. Talk about blowing it. Guard Ryan Rollins, who the Washington Wizards released a week ago. So this guy was just an NBA player till a week ago, being accused of shoplifting from Target numerous times. So I guess the money that he was making in the NBA just wasn't enough. He had to steal things from Target. So we'll see how that plays out. Some folks pretty upset with the Chiefs-Dolphins game on Saturday only being on the Peacock streaming service. I mean, I know that happened with Iowa Hawkeye games with, at least one, maybe two Iowa Hawkeye football games this past fall. So yeah, people aren't happy that they have to pay extra to get their football games. Just put it on regular TV, people. Come on. We don't need to pay extra to see our regular football game. We don't want to turn football into like a pay-per-view situation. So let's knock that off right now. Let's see here. The Emmy Awards coming up tonight, if anybody's going to be watching. They're rescheduled from September because of course, all the strikes were going on back in the fall. Look for the Emmys. In Nebraska, Bellevue police are reminding this could have been on the duh segment. Bellevue, Nebraska police reminding residents that pouring gasoline on snow and lighting it on fire is not an option. Don't do that. Don't try to light your snow on fire with gas. Let's see here. Of course, today's the day that Iowa voters caucus. What a weird word that is. Caucus. I'm going to go caucus. On who they would like as the Republican nominee for president. And so the madness begins. The caucusing. And of course, that means that by the end of this year, the world will be insane once again come November. So we'll see what happens today. Iowa kicking things off kind of for that whole process. Always good to have the spotlight here on our state of Iowa. We'll see how things turn out tonight. You know what it's time for? It is time for today's Impossible Question. Today's impossible question. This happens to the average person about 130 times a year. What is it? Again, it happens to the average person about 130 times a year. Any guesses? By the way, good morning to you, Becky, Christine, Mary. By the way, all the Keokuk County offices are closed today. Don't go up to the courthouse or anything. Things are closed today. Let's see here. Again, Impossible question. This happens to the average person about 130 times a year. What is it? They get a perfect night's sleep. So that's about a third of the time. 130 times a year, you get a really good night's sleep. That did not happen to me last night. I had a bad night's sleep last night, but hey, I still got up early to hang out with you guys. So yeah, hopefully you had a good night's sleep. Let's see here. Wallet Hub. They like to do surveys. And survey says, according to Wallet Hub, since today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, they did this survey for the states with the most racial progress. Most of them come from the South. Georgia is number 1, Texas at 2, Mississippi at 3. So evidently those states are doing good at making the most racial progress. They say the most integrated states overall are Hawaii, Arizona, and New Mexico. So good job to those states. Good morning to you, Carrie Ann and Mary. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Let's do some weird stuff.
That is weird.
In some weird, a huge ancient city has been found in the Amazon. No, not Amazon that delivers things to your door, like the Amazon jungle. A new ancient city found there, hidden for thousands of years by lush vegetation. So that's kind of neat. Might want to look that up online and see some of the pictures there. Other weird news, it looks a lot like crocodile skin with a pebble-like texture someone might desire for a purse. But for the small sample size, you'd never guess it's nearly 300 million years old. Dating to the late Paleozoic era, they say it's extremely rare to find fossilized dinosaur skin, which they have evidently done. Mummified animal skin found at sites in Russia and South Africa. So we're finding stuff in the Amazon. We're finding 300-year-old fossilized dinosaur skin. Interesting stuff there. How about this? St. Paul City Council president looked out at her fellow council members at their initial meeting this week, and she saw all the member seats were occupied by women. Again, this is in St. Paul, Minnesota, a first for Minnesota's capital city. The entire city council made up of women. And finally, in some weird news today, that is weird.
That is weird.
A reptile wrangler. How'd you like to have that on your business card? Hi, I'm Steve Shetler, reptile wrangler. Reptile wrangler was called to an Australian home where a mother found one of the world's most venomous snakes in her son's underwear drawer. Melbourne snake catcher Mark Pelly, known as the snake hunter. I'm here to hunt your snakes, mate. Said he was called to a home where a woman found the 5-foot eastern brown snake in her 3-year-old son's underwear drawer. Now, the snake hunter shared video showing the moment that he opened the drawer in the boy's bedroom and confirmed the presence of the eastern brown snake, the second most venomous snake species in the world. Now, the wrangler said the serpent apparently hid inside some clothes the mother had brought in from the clothesline. So, how would you like to open up your underwear drawer and find a 5-foot venomous snake? Kind of crazy. Let's see here. 7:25 on your Monday morning. Let's do the files of law and disorder. In some disorder today, investigators who entered a Colorado funeral home where nearly 200 abandoned bodies were found, encountered stacks of partially covered human remains, bodily fluids several inches deep on the floor. Did you catch that? Bodily fluids several inches deep on the floor. And flies and maggots throughout the building, according to an FBI agent. Prosecutors also revealed text messages sent between the funeral home's owners, showing they were under growing financial pressures and had fears that they would be caught for mishandling the bodies. Again, this was in Colorado Don't use that funeral home, people. Are we all envisioning the bodily fluids that were several inches deep? Can you imagine walking through that? I'm thinking of the worst theater floor where your feet kind of stick to the floor because of like spilled pop and stuff. And then think of a funeral home where you have several inches of bodily fluid on the floor. Barf. Let's do some good news. A heart cell woman in Alabama is the new Mrs. Alabama International and hopes to use her platform to promote healthy living. At 46 years old, this is Dana Bradley's first pageant, but 4 years ago, her doctor told her she needed to make a change. As she says, quote, "He said I could leave my kids without a mom. My mom passed away when I was 14 because she neglected her health. This woman ended up losing 154 pounds and just won her first pageant for Mrs. Alabama International. So congratulations to that woman from Alabama. What was her name? Dana Bradley. So we salute you, Dana Bradley, for getting healthy and doing it for your kids so that they can have their mom. Let's check in with some duh.
Duh.
In some duh. Let's go to Norway. Kind of feels like Norway here in Iowa. I'm assuming Norway is cold and desolate and barren. In Norway, the man who carried out Norway's biggest mass killing appeared in court on Monday to complain about his prison conditions. So again, this guy carried out Norway's biggest mass killing, and here he is complaining about his prison conditions. His name is Anders Behring Breivik. He's 44 years old, says it is inhumane that he's forced to live largely in isolation. Well, you poor friggin' baby. He killed a total of 77 people back in 2011. 8 in a car bombing, 69 of them in a shooting rampage. And now he's complaining that he's living largely in isolation. How about you kick him right in the hoo-ha and tell him to get back in his jail cell? He changed his name. Who cares? He says the isolation is jeopardizing his mental health and is a violation of his human rights. How about you do bad things to him? What an idiot. Let's give him a duh.
Duh.
Let's end with some box office numbers today. Did you go to the movies over the weekend? Probably not. Didn't look like many people went to the movies this weekend. I doubt if too many people in Iowa left their homes to do much of anything. The movie The Beekeeper is number one. It debuted at $16.7 million. That's your number one movie. Wonka hanging around at number two with $8.3 million. Other movies in the top 10 include Anyone But You, Migration, Aquaman, Night Swim, Boys in the Boat, Book of Clarence, Iron Claw, and American Fiction. Those are your top 10 money-making movies at the box office from this past weekend. All right. Once again, before we get out of here, let's take a look at our forecast, and it's brought to us by the Garden Gate. Wind chill warning for today. So be safe. If you're going outside, bundle up. I've only been outside for a few seconds over the weekend, and usually my dogs, I like to talk about my dogs and taking them outside quite a bit here on the morning wake up. My dogs are basically going out, going to the bathroom in about 10 seconds, and then coming back in. So, yeah, it's cold out, but I'm bundling up. I'm dressing like I'm going to be outside for a long time, but yeah, it's just be careful. You don't want to get frostbite and all that stuff. Wind chill warning today and tomorrow till noon. Cloudy and cold today, a high of only 4 below. Wind chill's about 35 below. And then overnight tonight, again, wind chill's about 35 below with a low of 15 below. So be safe. Your forecast brought to us by the Garden Gate. All right. that does it for our morning wake up here on Steve Shuttler Media. Thank you guys so much. I don't ever point this out nearly enough. I take them for granted, and I don't mean to, but my sponsors right down here, again, if you guys shop these businesses, if you eat at the Wood Iron Grill, if you go to Barnwired in Sigourney, all these businesses that rotate down here, make sure you tell them thank you, or say, hey, we saw your ad on Steve Shuttler Media, Brothers Market. Tell them when you're checking out, say, hey, we saw your ad on Steve Shuttler Media. Thanks for advertising with Steve. That would help me out tremendously. I mean, these folks down here are paying the bills for me. I know Casey and the crew at Exceptional Edge, they've been working extremely hard. Say, hey, saw your ad on the morning wake up. So it helps me out. It helps them out because they know that their advertising money is working and it's being used on an outlet that people are watching. So we had a big weekend here at Steve Shuttler Media as far as people sharing and reacting and looking at stuff, content here on Steve Shuttler Media. So we want our sponsors to know that their money is being put towards a good thing, and that their advertising money is being put in a place where people are seeing it. So let these people know that you're seeing their ads here on Steve Shuttler Media. That would be greatly appreciated. All right, you guys be safe. Be careful in this crazy winter weather that we're having here in Southeast Iowa. Coming up here shortly, we're going to have our In Remembrance Of video at 8 a.m. We'll get an encouraging word from Kevin Hempel later on today at about 5 o'clock. And we'll have some real talk with Pastor Aaron Fleming and myself later on this evening. So, another thing, a little teaser. Been in talks here over the last few days with a couple of news shows that'll be coming to Steve Shuttler Media hopefully soon. So, fingers crossed, I'll hopefully be making some announcements on that here shortly here on Steve Shuttler Media. All right, thanks you guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.